So we're here to learn about, the title was Chinese medicine and understanding parent and family well-being. So Chinese medicine, I feel, can be very important for everyone's well-being, but relationships and stress and what specifically what parents might be going through, it's I feel like there's a way that using the stuff that the Chinese medicine skills that I have, I can imagine actually lowering the entire stress in the entire household and all the relationships. It's working on the energy field of the individuals and the energy between them and whatever is going on for within the family unit. So, but I think stress itself is such an important topic that when you're in it, it's hard to actually uh, under, it's hard to pay attention to it. It's hard to have an awareness of where you're at. Like you're living in it and you're living through the day and you're just handling the stressors without really thinking how you're feeling. So that's kind of the purpose of this 1 hour webinar is to just raise awareness and that there are we could do better than stress management. So people talk about stress management. I don't like that term at all. When I think of stress management, I think it was like, okay, so I fed the cat, okay. The dog was walked, okay, this kid's thrown up over there, the phone is ringing, my neighbor needs to come by with something, like I'm having a, a stressful discussion with my co-parent, right? Like all of these things at the same time. And I feel like when people say stress management, that they're managing their stress, that they are getting all of their stuff done and they haven't bit anyone's head off. Do you think that's kind of what, like, yeah, so they're not, so I mean, it's not really explained what stress management is when that term is used. So I think stress resilience is what we should be aiming for. When we have stressors, we know that these are not good situations and they're taking a little bit of our reserves to handle them and and yet we aren't feeling the stress in our body if we are stress resilient. So that's where I feel like I'd love for people to learn that that's what we should be striving for. So when I think of stress, I found a really easy way to explain it, and how I explain it to my clients is when we're in a stress state, it's as though our nervous system is behaving as though something's trying to chase us and eat us. And if you're in that state, every part of your body's functioning that you don't need in that moment is shut down. So it's kind of like anything that you would need tomorrow doesn't need to be functioning. So that means your digestion's not at its best, your immune system's under functioning, um, your nervous system is not communicating with the rest of the body, and your brain isn't working the way it's supposed to. I mean, then there are some people who can actually still function and think when they're having stress, but they're not at their best. Their decision making is not at the best, the clarity is not at their best. So really all of your energy is diverted to escape so you don't get eaten. And then you're supposed to recover and all these systems come back online again. And it's like all your organ systems and all the functions in your body, and you're operating as a holistic unit. And there's communication within the body between the organs, between the cells, between your emotional state, your mental state, your physical body. But when we're stressed, we don't have that. So we're kind of we're missing out on paying attention to what's going on around us, and we're disconnected from, well, let's just say that when I'm feeling stress energy in someone, what I feel is it's in a part of the energy field that's related to communication. So I know that that energy is not calm and doing the job that it needs to be doing. It's not functioning the way it's supposed to for the individual. And when I feel that stress energy, it feels prickly, kind of buzzy. It's if when I'm tapping into another person's energy and working with a client, for example, it's uncomfortable physically for me. There are times that I'm like, okay, that is a person that's very uncomfortable. There's a lot of stress going on for that person. And I can feel what they're going through. But the other thing is the buzziness, and it's like this chaotic, right? Like bouncing, right? It's almost like what you feel when you are stressed, right? Your thoughts are ping-ponging all over the place. You're jumping from task to task. You know, your attention is everywhere at once, right? And that's what the energy feels like. So it's to me, that's really interesting. Like the energy feels like the state feels when you're in it, right? Um, so so we have like, okay, so this is what happens for people that they may have a chronic level of stress that started a very long time ago, perhaps in their childhood. Perhaps they were it's called developmental trauma, but like if you were a child in a stressful home, you would be prone to a quicker stress reaction and um, a more intense and more quick response to stress, right? So it escalates more quickly. But you also get to a point as you're getting older, if you haven't resolved it, done your healing, done therapy for it, like figured out what you need to do to calm that, you might be operating at a baseline of high stress that's been there for a very long time. This is, my hand is like showing you the baseline here. So then what happens is here you are, right? And then the acute stressors come now and again because life does that, right? Life throws us these unexpected things. The car isn't starting, the bus didn't show up, the roof is leaking, there's a sick kid, right? Like, or just it could be a number of things, right? But these things are going to happen, right? So it's like, what do we have? What part, like, how much room do we have for added stressors when we have the chronic stress baseline? And so then going back to the understanding of energy is the stress actually to deal with that stress, it's robbing life force energy, energy that is in your body that's there to help run your body, to help heal your body when you need to heal, to help you recover from acute stressors, actually, just normal recovery and resilience. Um, that's what our life force energy is supposed to do. So, but if we have that much stress on a daily basis, it's robbing our energy. So we end up where we just don't have the energy for enjoying the things that we want to enjoy, like in a balanced life where we have a social life and we are, can be active, or we have something creative that we do, or we can laugh. When you want for us to feel, for us to be able to have all that, it's like we have to be in a calmer state to really enjoy those, to have enough energy to enjoy all of those aspects of life. So, and okay, so what I wanted to talk about then is I'm actually embarrassed to say I've only really learned this concept recently, but that is the idea of capacity. So at any given time, any individual, if you were to check in with yourself, you could have a sense of where you're at. Like, okay, so if you have capacity to deal with something new that might come along that you have to deal with, right? Like, how many stressors can we have? If we have that chronic baseline, and not everyone does, but like, let's say you do, that makes it that you have less capacity. So then this other thing you're dealing with, this other thing that you're dealing with. there's a point when we get to where we feel done. And yet nobody's talking in on a regular basis with each other about where their capacity's at. Like, how are you today? Well, my capacity is pretty much shot, right? Like, it'd be great if we could actually share that. And that would give us so much information about, what's going on with the people that we're in relationship with and probably insight into their behavior, actually. Um, so the idea is we want to have that capacity. So we want to be able to, I don't like managing stressors, but have an awareness. I feel like it would be beneficial to just on a regular basis check in with yourself and ask yourself how you're feeling. Kind of ask yourself like what's going on? What are you stressing about? We have Elizabeth is coming in. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi.
You're welcome to turn on your camera if you want to. Lex is choosing not to, but I did want to say hi to you. I'm Donna.
Okay. Hey. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. But I was just talking about the different types of stress and when we don't have capacity for more. So sometimes we'll have like a chronic baseline of stress that we've had for a very, very long time, maybe even since we were very little. And then we have all these acute stressors that come into play, and you never know when they're going to happen, right? So, like, it's like, how much can we handle at one time? And then I was just sharing with Lex and Vicky that the term stress management doesn't fully help to understand what your options are for how you can actually be more stress resilient. But so I was suggesting that it would be really good for us on a regular basis to check in with ourselves and ask ourselves, how's our stress level? And then I think it's really good to even name your stressors. I find that really helpful for myself when I take stock of like what I've been through in this past week, right? And sometimes the list is huge. And just doing that helps me to have loving kindness for myself and realize that I'm at capacity. And so this idea of thinking in terms of, do you have capacity? If one more person asks you to do something for them, do you have the capacity for it? Or should you say no? Because maybe not today, because I don't have the capacity today. I'd like to help you, but I cannot, right? It's just that is another way to take care of yourself to make sure that you're not taking on more and more and more stress. Because we want to be there for, I mean, this is meant to be about parenting. It's really true for anyone, all of what I'm talking about. But like, you want to be there for your kids, and you want to be able to enjoy that time in your life, spending time raising your kids. And in order to do that, I think you have to check in with yourself and do that level of self-care. Like, what's going on for me right now, and how's it going? Um, so. I have a little meditation thing that I thought we would do. Um, I don't know if it's calm and quiet in the households with the little people, but I'll pretend that it is, and you're going to be able to participate and enjoy it. So if you could, I'd like you to sit comfortably in your chair, and if you could be barefoot, that would be better. And if you wanted to lay down, you could do that as well. And I'm not a meditation teacher, but this, I think it'll go well anyway. Okay, so we're going to do a little exercise in checking in with ourselves and kind of seeing what's going on inside. All right, so if your feet are flat on the floor, I want you to close your eyes If you don't want to close them completely, just kind of like, lower your eyelids just to try to kind of minimize the visual field and the distractions. And imagine that you are connected to the earth and really think about feeling your feet in contact with the ground, and your feet are sinking into the earth as if you're becoming rooted in like a tree. And now feel the weight of your body supported by the floor or your chair beneath you, holding you, supporting you, and allow your muscles to relax in that position. And then bring your attention to your breath, inhaling deeply through your nose and letting your belly expand. And then exhale slowly through your mouth. Continue this breathing for a few moments, noticing how your body feels with each breath. And then with every exhale, you're releasing tension. With every inhale, you're inviting in calm and presence. Now try to focus in on the heart center, in your center of your heart. And sometimes it's a little uncomfortable in there if you're not used to that. And I understand that. That some of the stuff that we bury, we kind of bury in there. But when you go in there, kind of sit with yourself and ask yourself, what kinds of, like, where are you at with your stress level? And I can imagine that if you've had a lot of stress recently, or, if you tend to carry a lot of stress, it would be kind of buzzy in there, kind of chaotic in there, and maybe a little uncomfortable. So the question is, what is in there and how much capacity do you have for dealing with life's challenges? So take a few more deep breaths. Again, feeling the connection between yourself and the ground and the earth. And then bring your awareness back into the room, wiggling your fingers and toes, and open your eyes when you're ready. Do we want to share? Do we want to share? That's all I have to offer about how I see stress and the energy aspects of it. I know that basically stress is energy. So it's something that I have the ability to help my clients with and clear and calm that energy. But the average person isn't taught how to do that for themselves. But I'd just like to hear like a little bit about, I don't know, what is capacity something new that you've never really thought about that? Do you tend to have an awareness of where you're at in terms of how much stress you're carrying at a given time? Two notches below capacity is what Lex has said. well, below the maximum capacity. So you have a little bit of space. Gotcha. Which hopefully whatever comes along for you next time and, the surprises of life, um, hopefully it's not a real big one, right? Because the different things come in different sizes. And then they rob more of our life force energy when it's really big. Um, so does anyone have questions or anything to add?
I like the fact that to make awareness of the capacity versus you're in the moment, I'm done, I can't, and you don't even think about capacity because now you're thinking about yourself. Hold on a minute. And wow, what a concept. And I
Well,
do
and what a concept to tell someone, no, I don't have the capacity for this right now. Talk to me
but
tomorrow.
we're always givers as moms and women, and we don't think about ourselves. So,
Right.
so yeah, I like that.
Even with your kids when they're little, like, okay, I had this thing I did with my kids. It was kind of funny and it works. So a little kid that's doing something that you want them to do, and it's hard for them, every second they do it. Okay, there's no point in talking about it. Let me just tell you what the story is. It's like a little kid waiting. If you're busy with something, it's very hard to tell a little kid to wait because you're busy, right? Because they don't have a sense of what you're doing. That's not on their agenda, right? So I remember standing there and I'd be doing something counter. I go, "You're waiting. You're doing a really good job. Good waiting." It's like when you tell a dog they're doing good work, right? Good dog. And I'm like, and then like 2 seconds later, you're still waiting. Very good. Good waiting, right? Because every second that they wait, it's hard. So taking notice of that but I also, even this is funny because I'm going to be 65 years old. My kids are grown. There's still concepts now that come to me on how to take better care of myself, notice where I'm at with my capacity, how much stress I have, what's going on with me. And what I've noticed is I am done with people and their urgencies. Now, okay, little kids have urgencies. Everything's urgent for little kids. But like, there's people in your life who aren't little kids that have urgencies when there doesn't need to be an urgency, right? Like, I'm like, oh, now I'm recognizing it. I'm like, this thing that you came to me and told me about, I'm not dropping what I'm doing to take care of that for you, And maybe they don't mean it that way. They don't mean to make it sound like there's an urgency, but I guess it's nice to say, do you see that I'm busy doing this thing? That's what I'm going to be doing, right? Just when you can, right? With the adults in your life, you could say, I'm happy to help you, but I'm doing this right now. And actually, another thing I did when my kids were little, so my kids are now 28, 30, and 33. But they were close in age. So I had like an infant, a toddler, and a 5-year-old. And when the youngest was little. And sometimes everyone wanted something at once. And I would just be like, well, this is the list of things I have to do. You want this, and you want this, you want this. Who wants to tell me what they want me to do first? And it was almost like it was distracting them from giving me more things to do to put on the list. But a way to make them aware of like, I hear you, I hear your need. It's on the list. Tell me which one you want me to do first. And they were happy to do that. So it was just kind of way to share with my little kids my inner world and me trying to do my best. And it's going to take some time because there's a line, right? So I hope that was helpful. Um, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I guess it was like if there was questions and answers, and also should we do a little energy work and I can feel into everyone and see if the electric field is where the stress is, and that's the topic of today. Shall I do that? I guess I want to know, is that okay with everyone here if I do that? Because I guess I said it in the email. Having someone work with your energy is rather personal. So I just want to make sure that's a comfortable thing. I guess, is that good for you, Elizabeth?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't know what Lex has told you about my work, but I basically, it is part of Chinese medicine, and it's like connecting with a person's energy and then calming it and restoring flow. So the other thing stress does, besides robbing our energy, it creates distorted energy where it's stuck, and then there's an absence of flow, and then we become stuck in life, emotional, thinking, physical tissues. So when energy's flowing, we're at our best, things are working, we're calm, and we're not really stuck. We're kind of like in a more fluid state. So I'm going to tap into the group's energy and then move that energy. And you guys just get to relax for a little bit. Actually, I'm going to start by sending energy. So I'll be doing this, and you can all sit comfortably with your palms upward, but obviously not in the air, so you can put them comfortably on your lap. And what you might feel is tingling or weight or heat in your hands. And I'll just be doing this and sending energy out to you. And when I do this, I'm using the words to an exercise called Pangu Qigong, which opens up the flow of energy. So there's like words and it's a little exercise, and that is a thing I teach to help people to build more life force so they are more resilient to stress and they have a greater capacity. So all those terms of capacity and resilience and stress, it's all kind of like a math equation, but you put a big dose of life force and all of a sudden you can handle more. So that's why I'm sending this out to you all. How's everyone doing? Awesome. Do you feel calmer than you did? I mean,
My
if you were to rate how calm you were when you came in today?
my chest was more tight, and now I don't feel that right
Yeah, because we hold it in, right? That's what it's like. No wonder we get muscle soreness, right? Because we have to go like this to hold all the energy in. We don't actually. We shouldn't. But that's that actually happens. If you had to rate your stress when we started this at like, I don't know, whatever time it is for you guys, on a 1 to 10, how much stress were you at when we started?
now. 7, and I'm down to at least 1.5, 2.
Awesome.
Maybe like a 5 or 6.
Okay. All right. Well, it's what's funny is I had more people that said they were interested in coming, but that's fine because I know that happens. But I was trying to figure out like the topics that would apply to everyone, right? Like because there's like there's one woman that had an 11-year-old that had like like developmental issues, right? Behavioral ADD kind of thing. Then another woman who had like teenage daughters that their relationship's not good. It's probably a lot of her stress is those relationships. And then I know for you, Lex and Elizabeth, you have really little children, really young children. And so it's so interesting. There's like stress, every other topic I'd want to talk about on my other webinar evenings, it's all like stress, just stress and understanding stress. And I feel like what we should do is like really dive into analyzing our stress. Where is it coming from? Is it an old belief? Is it a fear that we're not doing a good enough job? Is it time scarcity? Is it related to a relationship, maybe with the co-parent, right? There's kind of could be stressful. Maybe there's not even time to sit down together and kind of figure some things out. It's so good to think about what the stressors are because you're kind of then accompanying your self as you're going through your day. And so you're having a witness. It's almost like what someone else could do for you that would help you to manage stress if you had someone with you. It's like if you're validating yourself, you're having an awareness. And so that's the first step to really understanding self-care, I think. Self-care is not, oh my God, I can't think. I haven't had a minute to myself and now I'm going to go for a walk. Like, yes, it is, but the minute to minute through the day of kind of just taking stock and seeing how you're doing and what it is what are the demands on you and which ones do you not have to deal with, right? Which ones can you delegate? Which ones Recently I was cooking dinner and it was stressful because I didn't thaw the chicken in time and I was trying to cook it and my son and my husband were planning to go to the movies, so I had a time deadline. I'm like, it occurred to me while I'm doing it, this is the thing where I'm talking about like accompany yourself. I go, yeah, I really don't know what you're doing here. I go, it's just very stressful. You don't know what you're doing. And I'm like, I have no idea how this is going to come out. But a couple of things, I had an epiphany, and I go, you can only handle maybe one or two very stressful things in a day. And I had already had those. And then in the middle of it, I go, I can't wait till it's over because this is going to be done soon and then it'll be over. It'll get eaten or thrown out and I'll be done. So it's not like, it's like sometimes we're in a stressful state and it's temporary. So I was like, I've never cooked a meal and I couldn't wait till I was finished because I was so, so I don't know. I just didn't have any faith it was going to be good. It worked out fine though. But I was just, I don't know, it was just a very funny, like, I made me chuckle too. Like, I think sometimes you're like, when you step aside and watch what's happening in your life, it can only almost be humorous. You'll have to let me know if you play with that and find out and see if that's true. But I want you to do that for homework. I want you guys to kind of check in with yourselves and see what you're feeling and name what your stressors are. Because that in itself allows some of that energy to be released. And you should be protective of your capacity for dealing with stress. So don't take on the ones you don't have to.
Yeah.
So thanks for coming.
Thank you.
I feel like I could do a whole course on analyzing
Thank
your own
you.
stress. I'm glad Lex talked you into coming tonight. Is it Lizzie?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's
Mhm.
nice to meet you, Lizzie.
You too.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I see there's a lot of chats that I didn't see. I'll go read them now. Okay, good night.